Thread synchronization. Thread synchronization in Java is a mechanism used to control access to shared resource by multiple threads in concurrent environment. Means here the multiple threads are the whenever we are having more than one thread is there, they want to use the same shared resource here. The shared resource may be a variable, or it may be a file, or it may be the object here. It may be a variable, or it may be a file, or it may be object here. Whenever the multiple threads wants to use the same variable, like this one, thread 1 wants to use the same variable count here, thread 2 wants to use the variable count here. Here the whenever using the thread 1 and thread 2 these variables at the time, that process is called as a thread synchronization. During this process, the main problem is the here the thread 1 value cannot be affected by the thread 2 here. Thread 2 value cannot affect the thread 1 here. Because of this one here, we will get the wrong answers here. To avoid this problem, we have to synchronize the threads here. To do the synchronization purpose, we are using the keyword. That keyword is called as a synchronize keyword. Okay. Whenever there is no synchronization at the time, we will get the wrong answer here. That is called as a race condition. Okay. Because of this one, we will get the race conditions on the data inconsistency here. Right. Come to a simple example here. Here I wrote a simple code here. Class. The class name is the counter. Integer counter equals to 0. I am taking the class counter. In this counter class, I am declaring one variable, the count variable. The value is 0. Synchronized void increment. Here I am taking the void method as a synchronize here. Why? Because to avoid the conflict here, to avoid the race condition here, in data inconsistency here. Whenever we are calling the increment here, automatically the count value will be incremented. For each and every time, the value can be incremented here. Whenever there is synchronous keyword here, we are putting the log on this variable here. Right, come this one. Public class synchronization example, public static void net string args throws interception counter c equals to new counter. For this counter class, I am creating one object. The object name is the c here. Thread t1 equals to new thread. I am creating the first thread t1. For integer I equals to 0, I is less than 1000, I plus plus. C dot increment means here of this one here. Here we are calling this counter class here. How many number of times we are executing this function here? How many number of times? 1000 times. Okay. Thread t2 equals to new thread. For integer I equals to 0, I is less than 1000, I plus plus. C dot increment means by using the thread t1, I am executing the c dot increment 1000 times. By using the 3 to thread, I am doing the same operation 1000 times here. Whenever there is no synchronized here, whenever there is no synchronized here, okay, whenever there is no synchronized here, in this point of view, whenever there is synchronized here, in this point of view, we will get the wrong answer. We will get the answer as a 2000. See this one here, this in the picture. Here actually this is not possible here. Why? Because here I am using the synchronized keyword. Whenever there is a synchronized keyword, T1 dot start, T2 dot start here. During the T1 operation, the variable will be logged. That can be used by only the T1 only. It cannot be used by the T2 here. See this one here. Whenever the thread 1 is using the count variable, whenever thread 1 is using the count variable, it is not allowing the thread 2 here. Whenever the thread 2 is using the count variable, it is not allowing the thread 1 here. It is not allowing the thread 1 here. T1 dot join and T2 dot join. Here the join of is main to is during the this execution it will not allow the remaining things here. System dot outer println final count plus c dot count here. We are displaying the c dot count value. This is about the thread synchronization. Then what is the difference between the process synchronization and the thread synchronization? Okay. Come to the definition point of view. Coordination between the different processes to ensure the correct execution order when accessing the shared resource here. In the process synchronized point of view, different processes are using the single resource here. But in the case of the thread synchronized point of view, it is providing the coordination between the multiple threads are there. Okay. We are having the single resource is there. This resource is used by the different processors at the same time. Then it is called as a process synchronization. Whenever the same resource is used by the multiple threads at the time, this is called as a thread synchronization. Okay. In the case of the memory point of view, the process synchronization provides its own memory. Means each and every process having their own memory. But in the case of threads point of view, all the threads will use the same memory only. Okay. That's why they are putting the locking mechanism. By using the locks and the synchronized blocks and the monitors only, it is doing the operation. But in this point of view, in the case of processing point of view, it is using the semaphores or the same memory here. Come to the overhead point of view, more overhead because switching between the process is expensive. Whenever we are switching from the one process to another process here, all the time it is expensive process, but it is a less overhead. In the case of tracing point of view, it is a less overhead. Why? Because they are in the same memory only, but here the memory has been different here. That's why the switching is expensive here. Come to the mechanism used. Semaphores means for this purpose we can use the semaphores, message queues, pipes, and the shared memory. For the implementation of thread synchronization, we are using the locks here, synchronize methods, blocks, lock, wait, notify, and the join methods here. Come to the example point of view, synchronizing database access between the two applications. Synchronize the access between the two shared variables between the multiple threads. This is a very simple one. Process synchronizing is about the coordination between the different processes. Thread synchronizing is about the coordination between the multiple threads. In this point of view, they are having their own memory. In this point of view, they are having the common memory. Here we are having the more overhead because they are present in the different locations. Here this is the less overhead here. And mechanism point of view, they are using the message queues, semaphores here. In this point of view, they are using the synchronized blocks here, wait, notify, and join methods. This is about the difference between the cross synchronization and the thread synchronization.